I'm so tangled up. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I need wireless earphones, but it's impossible with a mix amp. I don't want to say impossible. There's probably some sort of adapter. The only thing I would be worried about then is lag. Alright. How do headphones work? Okay, there we go. Alright, we're gonna have to replay this song because I started it way too early. Run Records, what's going on, man? How you doing? Keep that up there like that. Actually, I think I want to take this over a little bit. Mr. Thakos, what's going on, man? Jerry, what's going on, man? It's going absolutely fantastic. We haven't died yet. That's always a good thing. Curiosity, what's up, amigo? How you doing, buddy? We got a little bounce. I don't know how far this bounce is going to take us, but so far, looking hot. We got a cross to the upside on the VWAP. We do have a bounce off a parabolic on the 2 hour, and that's kind of a bounce around the 50. Now, when I'm talking about the 50, I don't always mean exactly 50. You can see like right here, it came up to about 55. Down here, came down to about 47. So it's like relatively in the 55 to 45 range is where I'm looking for bounces. So if this 2 hour does get a nice bounce, we could skyrocket up towards probably about 97. But the whole thing is we just keep getting held down by this one-to-one Ganfan the entire time. So we do have to kind of either one, keep moving sideways along this channel and then finally break out to the upside, or we could just go ahead and break through it. And we have two different options. Obviously, it's a little bit of a stronger resistance, especially with us bearishly diverging already. It just doesn't have enough room to push. I do want to check out to see if that is maybe what's been, if the previous one has been holding us down. Because I deleted that a long time ago, ever since we put in a new medium pattern. Let's go ahead and see. Relatively. So we do have that holding us down. So this could be quite a while until we get to our official target. Or if we dump back down. Now, as we move sideways, I actually have to move my stop loss lower and lower. So at first, obviously, it was just a mistake. I had to put it back down below about 9,000. But now that we've moved over a little bit, I have to put it down just a little bit lower. So I got mine at about 8,955 right now. That's what I feel comfortable with. Like I said, I did mess up on this trade. I didn't follow through with what I was supposed to do. So if I do lose it, it's going to be a little bit bigger of an impact. Not crazy, but it is going to be kind of out of my line. When is the major correction coming? I would expect a major drop around $10,000. I wouldn't, unless we cross back below this 8-to-1 Ganfan, I don't think we're going to get a major pullback. I think it's going to look similar to kind of what we did here. Okay. Come up, bounce, and then I think this is the scenario that we're kind of in now. So we were being held down by kind of the same type of resistance, and all we did was drop down, slide over, bounce, drop down, slide over, bounce, and then we finally had that pullback. So we could do this, could be the first of this kind of structure right here. So we come down, bounce, pull over a little bit, bounce, come down, pull over a little bit. I'm messing up my little lines. So that's something that could happen. I'm not saying that's going to be what's going to happen. It's just something that I'm looking for. Legendary, what's going on, man? Mrs. G, what's going on? Crypto Cowboy, what's going on? Big L, good to see you too, buddy. What's up, man? You don't see we coming down to the AKs again. I'm not saying that we won't. I'm saying that until this major support line is broken, I can't even look for that. The way I play my trades, if I'm above a major support line, I am longing the hell out of that. Not saying I bet the farm. I'm just saying I'm taking a long off of that with the correct amount. And if we cross back down below and I get stopped down, we get put back in this pattern, then I will go ahead and take another short, and I'll probably be looking for it to come back down to probably around 8,426. And that is a failed breakout if that does happen. So that actually puts more downside pressure, and we could fall back down to around 7,900 if we wanted to. Are my fibs in the right places? Yes. And I mean, we've been cooling off the higher time frames up here so far. We've been bullishly diverging the entire time. We just put in another bullish divergence. And we have been bullish diverging for quite a while now. As well as that, let's see where the 4 hours. 4 hour looks like it's starting to get that bounce off the 50. 3 hour just got a bounce off the 50. Let's see. Last time 3 hour got a bounce off the 50 was this move right here. Boom. That was what, 10%? Yeah, it was 10%. So let's hope. We do have a diagonal resistance, which once I see us starting to get close to that, I probably, hopefully we will be at our take profit point by that time, but I might exit a little bit. And you guys already know me. I took out 1/4 of my profits at the 1.272. 1/4 of my profits will be taken out at about 9,646 at the 1.414. And then finally, I will be exiting this long swing trade, this long breakout at 9,868. And I'll be looking for bearish divergence and trying to find an entry on a short around 10,150 with a stop loss probably about 10,250. And that's kind of my plan going forward. Unless things change and we do break down to the downside, then I probably will be flipping short, going ahead and taking advantage of that. The risk to reward will probably look something similar to this. So let's say we get stopped out here. I'll probably be taking a position right there. My stop loss will most likely, I'm going to try, my stop loss will probably be somewhere around here. And looking for the bottom. So that'd be about 4.29. Not too bad. Not too bad. G Moneybags, what's going on, man? Just got out of my long at 9,400, 23% profit. Just waiting to get back in. That's what's up, Crypto Cowboy. That's how you scout, buddy. 2 hour confirmed bearish divergence. Yes, we've had those divergences for quite a couple days. We had one back here. You can see it play down to the downside. Now, that being said, in bull markets, what happens is it's called it's like the Einstein MC equals, I don't know what the hell the formula is, but basically energy cannot be to short. It can only be redistributed. So if we do get a bearish divergence on a macro time frame that ends in bullish convergence, you know, AKA we hold a support line, that will play out to the upside. So bearish divergence doesn't necessarily mean go ahead and short the farm. But for me, I have a very particular way that I trade, and this is the best risk reward trade right now. I'm going to be taking it. Fishy. Don't start. Don't start, fishy. All right, now we go back to Ryan Carvalho. What do I want to play? Play patient. Spin makers, what's going on, man? Good morning. Good morning. It's almost nighttime for me. It's almost beddy by time. I gotta go to my sister's birthday, not birthday shower, baby shower tomorrow. Birthday shower. Damn, look at that doji. Same, what's going on, man? Well, it's a pre-birthday. Yeah, I guess you're right. How accurate is MC? It's very, very accurate. And I'm not saying that it's more accurate than anything else, but it's an indicator and it's accurate. That's all I'm saying. MACD, just as accurate. You can get just the same moves. Now, the thing that the VWAP does have over the MACD, hey, do not get the sheets off the bed. I'm in the couch. Is the VWAP. Now, the VWAP does tend to be more accurate and more responsive than the MACD cross, so that does give me a lot more confidence when entering trades. I used to be strictly a VWAP trader, but as time went on, I wanted better and better entries, and the only way to do that is play off of support and resistance and set up the best risk-reward trade possible. VWAP, yes, you will make great trades as long as you understand where your stop losses need to be, but do not sacrifice your stop loss just to crank up the leverage. That is something that can be very dangerous. You guys have seen me do it even. I consider myself to be, pretty disciplined. It is something that can easily happen to anybody. Make sure that you're not sacrificing your stop losses just to crank up the leverage and get a little bit more money. Just play safe, guys. Play safe. Aaron Clay, what's up, K-Money? Isn't that Crypto Zombie's name? Oh, he's K-Dub. Okay, so I'm K-Money, he's K-Dub. All right. And I did want to show this off, guys. Everything is not done yet, but he did get the YouTube banner background done. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see this picture right here. Look, guys, it's a kite taking you to the moon. It's a kite spaceship. Isn't that so cool? So I did want to show what my original version looked like that I sent to him as kind of like an idea. So this is my version right here. Okay. This is my version. So I wanted a kite, but with like the texture of a Bitcoin, with a kite coming off the E, and the string was candles. And I drew the moon and I drew the earth. And I was like, that would be pretty cool. But then he was like, what if you had a spaceship that was a kite? I was like, okay. I would love that. Yeah, that is, he did an amazing job for me. It was kind of like an equal trade. Because I need more crypto related artwork, and I just want to kind of rebrand my channel. I don't know if I'll actually rename myself to Kite Crypto. The problem I have is if I tell anybody my channel name, which is Kite, and they search it up on YouTube, my channel doesn't pop up, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if changing my name to Kite Crypto will actually work. I'm not sure. I think if you look up Mr. Biglow 11, it pops up, and that's like my old, like, back when I was 12 years old, like my like Roblox name. Doing absolutely fantastic, Chainwax. How you doing, man? Oh my God, Telegram is going crazy. Let's turn that off. So how many people we got so far? Because I did want to kind of further discuss this risk reward ratio formula that I've been talking about, because there has been so much confusion about it, and I personally don't see where the confusion lies, but I'll try to better explain it. Now, I want you guys to understand that this risk reward formula, no matter how you chalk it up to your style of trading, as long as you follow that formula, let's say you have a larger portfolio, so you can play small and you can play methodical with a long period of time. You use the same formula. But if you're like a heavy-duty scalp trader that wants to make the most out of each individual move, no matter how big or how small, as long as you understand where proper stop losses are, you can adjust it to allow you to make more profit. And I'll give you a couple different examples of what the profits will look like from last month, depending on how you structured your formula. So last night, me and a guy were talking, and I said, in this call, we are going to figure out what type of trader you're going to be. And I talked to him about how big his portfolio was, what kind of growth he's looking for, and what kind of risk he's willing to take. And so my original formula was 20% divided by chart stop loss equals your leverage, and then your leverage times 5% of your portfolio or 2% of your portfolio, depending on if it's a scalp or if it's a swing, would equal your contract size. So the only things that should ever change in that formula are your contract size and your dynamic stop loss, your chart stop loss that is dependent on the trade that you are currently taking. The 20% is a constant stop loss. You might say, well, why do I need a constant stop loss? Well, if you are playing off of emotions and changing what leverage and how much position you're using from trade to trade, whenever you hit a good trade, it doesn't matter, because you can gain more confidence and then keep cranking up that leverage, and the second you lose, boom, everything gets reset. When you have a constant stop loss, no matter what trade and where, you will always lose the same amount, but you always have the potential to gain more. So that means if you win a good trade, you have the potential to lose four trades in a row and still be in a profit if you hit a 5 risk reward ratio. But you can change that to fit your style of trading. If you look at my formula and go, oh my God, well, I have a $500 portfolio. How the hell am I going to make any money off of that? Well, you can adjust the 20% to like 25%. So you get more leverage, and maybe change the 5% of your portfolio to 10%. All you have to understand is the risk when starting out. That is all. But if you can get the ball rolling and get a couple good trades in a row, you're setting yourself up for future losses, and it gets exponentially harder to reset the entire account. But if you start out with, okay, let's say you have a $1,000 portfolio. So you have a $1,000 portfolio, and let's say the back end of that formula, you're going to be using 15% of your portfolio per swing trade, which I do not recommend. But let's say, for example, so that's going to be $150 per trade, no matter what. Obviously, over time, this is going to grow as your portfolio grows, but from trade to trade, it should be relatively consistent. So now we're going to go ahead and do and then let's say we crank up the stop loss, the constant stop loss, from 20% to 30%. So every single trade you lose, you will lose $45. But now we know what we're going to lose on every single trade. So now you can take $45 and you can just look at a chart, set up a risk to reward ratio, say that's a 7. Okay, and then a 7 would give you $315. Add back the initial margin, and now it would take 1, 2, 3, 4. I lost count. But 7. It would be 7. So you guys get the point. But the risk that is involved in this is not from trade to trade after you start winning. It's the initial startup. If you start up and you're using 15% of your portfolio, you only have what? That's like 6 trades in a row? No. 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it'll be about 8 almost trades that you could lose in a row before your entire account is gone. And that's just the start. So the lower you use, the more chances you have to start to get that ball rolling. But if you're really like a risk to reward trader and you want high reward and high risk, but you can slowly over time make the risk less and less as you win. That is the purpose of the risk reward formula. So let's say, for example, let's let's find a trade. Okay, so let's find a trade. Let's use today as an example. All right, so let's say we're taking a scalp off of this rejection, off of this resistance. Okay, so as long as you can get your entry to the very, very tippy top, as long as you know where that stop loss is, I mean that resistance is, that's very, very possible. So let's say your entry was here. Your stop loss is going to be above that. So we got a 0.99% stop loss on this scalp trade. And let's say you're going to take your profit around this region, either on the horizontal from the fib retracement, which I would recommend because that comes first, or the diagonal from the macro support line. So in this, we know that we have a 3.74 risk to reward ratio. So from that previous example I used, if you had a $1,000 portfolio on this singular trade, well, this is if you were using 15% on a scalp trade. That's ridiculous. Don't do that. But we can at least know that a 3.74, so times 3.74, on that one trade, we would have made $168. So we would be able to lose 2.7 trades in a row after this and still be in profit from that singular trade. So let me see if there's any questions about that. Hopefully I did a good job explaining it, but I want you guys to find out who you're going to be in trading. Set your limitations. Set ground rules for yourself. Have a trading plan. Do not trade off based off emotion. It goes back to that saying I used to say back when I first started live streaming. Trade like a bot, think like a whale. Trade like a bot means you have a strict set of parameters for how you're going to enter and exit trades and how much you're going to use per trade, depending on what type of pattern. Thinking like a whale, since we are humans and not robots, we can kind of, look a little bit ahead. We don't have to go off okay, if it's a not statement, we can look one step ahead, maybe two steps ahead if you get good at it. And that will be able to allow you to be a much better trader. If you're trading off of emotion, yes, you might get lucky a couple times. You might feel good and that makes your confidence go sky high. And then boom, it all comes crashing down. And you're like, what the hell did I do? I thought I was a good trader. But no, you didn't have a plan backing you up. And if that plan doesn't work, find a new one or tweak the original one. If you say, okay, I really can't afford this much risk on my account. I'm just losing too much damn money. Crank the formula back. Instead of doing 20%, maybe do 15%. But don't constantly switch the formula back and forth. Obviously, if you get to a certain point, let me say, for example, let's say you're starting out with $500. You use a high risk to high reward setup to get your account started. Once you hit $1,500, you crank it back a little bit because now you have a bigger portfolio to work with. Now, once you hit $10,000, you crank it back even further because you have a bigger portfolio to work with. You don't have to make these risky moves in order to gain, dollar amounts. And that's the problem with people that are starting out with smaller portfolios. They want to make money, but they don't want to spend a lot of time, which you got to understand what you're getting yourself into. You're getting into a market that is going to take years to blossom, and there'll be many downturns during the way. If you're not willing to stick around even in those downturns, and you just sell your money at a loss and you say quit it, and you wait for the news to tell you when a new bull market is, rising up, and you buy back, you're missing so much money. It really is ridiculous. James, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Crypto Fever, how you doing, man? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Mr. Thakos, thank you very much, man. He did a great job on it. Can you show us how to set up your Gonfen on a 1 hour time frame? So, I mean, it's not based on time frame. It's all based on price structure. Like I said, you're looking for pattern, breakout, top, swing low. That's a new set of Gonfans right there. This one right here, you have pattern, breakout, bottom, swing high. That's a new set of Gonfans right there. And this one right here, we have pattern, breakout, top, swing low, pattern, new set of Gonfans. And we're in the middle of a new breakout. So, I mean, this one came a lot sooner than I thought it would. But it is something that we have to kind of watch out for and look for that next top and that next swing low for a correction. We should be good from there. And yeah, and I do have a video on my YouTube on how to set up Gonfans that you can watch 1,000 times if you need to, buddy. JC, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? When you first did macro Gonfans, were they from the 2019 bull run But more recently, you did gun fans from the top of the 2018 bear market. Doesn't matter which I choose for a macro perspective. If you want more recent support and resistances, I would say just do it from this bottom to this top. But if you do want like a full macro view, which it will actually look very, very similar to this, but there'll be a lot of supports and resistances that are missing that will be very, very important going forward. You can do the 20K to 3K bottom. You guys have seen me do that for macro charts. And I believe, I forgot which Gonfan it is. I think it's the 4-to-1 Gonfan is basically where our 2-to-1 Gonfan is for the macro. This is like medium macro. I know I throw a lot of macro, medium, and micro out, but it's all about it's all a part of my trading plan. I can sectionize my chart into 3 different patterns: macro, medium, and micro, and therefore I can manage 3 different accounts effectively based on those patterns. And I have a strict set of parameters for how I'm going to enter on those specific patterns as we go along. My issue is when you do the formula, it comes up with a number of contracts. That number of contracts is the value would be leveraged, or is that the number to use when placing a trade? That is the number to be used when placing a trade. Because let's say you're trying to use $100 to trade with, and you're on 10x. That's 1,000 contracts, but you still want to use $100. Let's say you're on 2x leverage, but you're using $100. You're using 200 contracts, so on and so on and so on. So when you set up the trade, you just input the number of contracts, and your slider will automatically do that for you as you go along if you want that to happen. Been short from 13.4 and 2.7 and won't get out until Bitcoin reaches the bottom, the true bottom. Yeah. So there's a phenomenon. There's a so when crypto Twitter starts getting bearish, you know that's when Bitcoin is bullish, because crypto Twitter loves just moon boys shit. That was my favorite thing during this whole downtrend, was going on crypto Twitter and looking at all the people saying, "Oh, this is the bottom. This is the bottom." Yes. But the second you start seeing people say, "Oh, we need to go lower," I did it too. I said that we're looking to go down to 5,500. When people that are, macro bullish start saying we need to go lower, that's when we're bullish. Wouldn't you just use cross then? No, I still use isolated margin. Dude, long board. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That was a really good entry, man. So far, this is our channel going upwards. We're getting rejected by the 1-to-1 Gonfan, and should find support on the 2-to-1 Gonfan, if anything. If that is broken, that starts looking a little bit more bearish, but I would be expecting that to hold. Now, we could be just going sideways for about 5 days. I'm not going to lie, guys. Well, from this point, only about 2 to 3 days before our next jump to the upside. Or maybe we just go sideways and have a break to the downside. That is an option. Mrs. G, I'm sorry, but you can't, I understand there's a lot of bearish sentiment, especially on the higher time frames. But as of right now, we have gotten multiple candle body closes above a macro resistance that has been holding us down for 9 months. As well as that, we are about to put in a green candle on the monthly in 1 hour. So yeah, there's no like special strategy based on support and resistance. Support and resistance is what allows you to get the best risk to reward ratio and set proper stop losses based on real resistances rather than a psychological one. That's all. Like the way I trade, guys, it is dead simple. It is dead simple. I mean, I could pass this along to a baby and they could probably trade and make millions of dollars if you gave them, you know, $100,000 to work with. But it is through time and practice and learning discipline alongside this simple plan that allows for such effectiveness. Poseidon, what's going on, man? Glad you're new. What's up, man? Would you scalp trade 5 days of sideways action on your micro account? Most likely not. Scalp trading, it really has not interested me in the past couple of weeks. I've just been making too much damn money off this risk reward formula and just swing trading back and forth. Now, the hardest part about swing trading is the breakout top to a swing low. That's the one that has trouble. Now, it was easy right here because the bottom was just a macro fib. But right here, the bottom was above the macro fib, so I couldn't really see that coming. And I was just kind of blind to it the entire time. I'll be honest, guys. I actually thought that this 2-hour rejection off the 50 was going to bring us down to 7,800. But I did preference that with saying, hey, if we do break the 1-to-1 Gonfan, that means we're going to be heading to the upside. Target 62, 8,620 first. I did not see it going past the 0.5. But once you got past the 0.5, I just let it run as high as it could. I didn't immediately hop into a long because that was not a smart decision. You might say, well, it did go up, but it was not a smart decision. So I took a short around here because it's a macro resistance. We had some bearishly diverging indicators. Got stopped out right here. Been in a long since 9,260. Fantastic. How old am I? I am 20 years old. Actually, I'm not even like 20 yet. I turned 20 back in November of last year. So my stop loss on this trade, it's not fantastic. But it's accurate. You have to have good stop losses even when it hurts, but it's about structuring the trade so it does not hurt. Unfortunately, monkey brain got a hold of me and we screwed up on this one, guys, but I do want to be an example to you guys. And if this trade doesn't work out, I want you guys to see that it can happen to anybody. And don't feel bad about it. Just make sure that from there on out, you stay consistent. You don't do things that are monkey brain. And it's not going to be absolutely terrible. I'm just going to lose 15% more than I have to. You might say, well, just move your stop loss up a little bit higher. No. Stop loss needs to go in a good place, and that is below the 8-to-1 Gonfan. We did that back here, made monumental profit. I'm not willing to risk it. Didn't monthly just close? I know the daily just did. I thought it closed at 8 p.m. EST. Is that before daylight savings time or whatever the hell we're in right now? Yeah, I'm gonna go check the monthly. Oh, yes, we did close. Fantastic. Fantastic. So you guys see I have red, yellow, and green here. So yellow is a caution zone. Yes, it starts to look a little bit better and more bullish, but until we're in the green zone, technically we're not super bullish. But because you can see even back here, there was plenty of times where we pumped into the yellow zone, but then got rejected. But that was always from the top of the yellow zone. So that's why I don't think us just topping out right here and then dumping back down is going to be something that happens. It just doesn't look like reality. What I could see is us pumping up to around 10,150, putting in either a bullish pennant or a bear bull flag, something like that, or maybe even a bigger pattern, pumping up to around $11,000 and then getting rejected. That is a possibility, but once we're in the green zone and we find support above that, that is super, super bullish. And if we go straight up, that would be at about 11,263. That's where that diagonal resistance is. Magnets, what's going on, buddy? Hold on. Let me make sure fish is not getting into anything real quick. I'll be right back.
I know a secret spot just for us. can see the city perfectly. We don't have to do drugs, kiss or touch, but if you want to, that works for me. We can both pretend it's the first time, like we don't know what heartbreak feels like we ain't ever watched everything we love burn to the ground. Yeah, that'd be real nice. Look at the lights, I wonder if anyone sees us from all the way out there. Probably not. So what you waiting on? Go ahead, let it out now. I ain't scared, I got demons too, if you even knew. Probably the only reason I believe in you. I know what they look like, and you've got the look like you've got something stuck inside.
Ugh. Hello.
Up your heart like pumpkin pie. It must be scrumptious, everyone just wants to try.
Thank you, Yadin. I appreciate that, man. Isn't there a gap at 11,300 on the CME futures? I believe so. But that's just one step along the way. How about bear div on 12-hour and daily? We've been looking at that. Now, the thing is, yes, that is a thing, but it doesn't mean that this wave is automatically going to go all the way down to zero. There can be many steps along the way, but you just can't plan on those. That's the thing. So, I mean, we could do a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and that could get us up to these higher numbers, and then we actually see that consolidation come in for quite a bit. But you can't just say, oh, 12-hour, go ahead and short everything. For me, I am a lower time frame trader. I'm a swing trader. And even though my daily says, oh, we're going down, for me, I have a strict set of parameters. And until we are back below this macro resistance, it's not short zone at all. Not in the slightest. Alexander, what's going on, man? JJ, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How you doing today? Hold on, where did my live stream? There we go. Awesome. And for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, this is our new channel logo. Well, it's not the logo, but this is like a cool background that he made for me. Look, guys, it's a kite, and it's taking you to the moon. And let me go ahead and find my version again so I can show you guys. Everybody that's missed it. This was my version. I was like, I literally, this is what I said to him. I said, okay, I'm going to send you a picture of what I think the YouTube banner will look like. Warning, I'm not an artist. I said, okay, like I said, not the best, but it's basically Earth. Then the background is space and the moon. The Kite crypto, I would like the texture to be Bitcoin if possible. If not, that's fine. And then I said, however much you can do with this info, thank you very much. And he said, got it, man. Night shift. Dude, the funniest thing happened last night. I don't know who it was, but last night we had the Discord meeting and we were doing introductions of all the new people. And we get to this one guy and he goes, I can't talk right now. I'm in the bathroom at work. And we were just like, okay, man, you're good. You're good. Good thing you used to do kids show voiceovers. You're drawing match to kids drawing. That's what I told him. I was like, I can't wait to put this on stream and show me looking like a preschooler. But I don't have like a sketch pad, okay? I had to do it with my mouse. Yep, I'm still long, man. I've been long, let's see. I've been long 3 days now. Let me check for you. Did I close it? Or did I get stopped out? What? So apparently it's not open? It looks like I got stopped out. I lost a little bit. Were we long? Hold on, let me check my trade history because this doesn't... Oh no, I closed it. I made a little bit. I have a much higher win percentage on Ethereum than I do on Bitcoin. It's probably because I don't trade Ethereum unless I see something that's actually like fantastic on a setup. Yeah, we'll put this here. We'll bring this down. That way I can get all those windows over there. Like XRP? Yep. I bought a whole bunch of XRP the other day. I do think it's pretty close to popping in terms of the GON fans. It's about to break the 8-to-1 GON fan. There's a lot of potential in it. And there is a massive bullish divergence building on XRP. Can you talk through the hierarchy of elements you look at into a trade? Do you look at RSI first, or do you like blue waves or MC first? Support and resistance first. That always comes first. I look at where we are in terms of, are we in a breakout at the moment? Are we just in a medium pattern? And what do I mean by that? I mean, okay, so I have the macros, obviously, on the daily chart. I have the macro GON fans. Now look, okay, are we coming up upon a macro resistance like the 4-to-1 GON fan like we were looking at the other day? If so, how close can I get to it before I can get an entry? That's the problem. So I always prioritize support and resistance over my indicators no matter what. I don't care what my indicators say whatsoever. If I'm above a macro resistance, I'm going to long that. I'm going to get the best possible entry. I'm going to get the best possible stop loss, and I'm going to roll with it. But RSI is my favorite tool out of everything, especially the 2-hour RSI. Whenever you see a rejection or a bounce off the 2-hour RSI, that is saying that a micro time frame pattern is going to break out to the upside. And that can also lead to breakouts of medium time frame patterns to the upside as well, or rejections to the downside. You can see micro pattern, rejection off the 50, break to the downside, rejection off the 50. But this is where I'm saying, guys, if you have a bearish indication that plays into bullish convergence, it doesn't just simply disappear. That same energy now goes to the upside. So if we do have a bearish divergence on a high time frame, that can be utilized by the whales to project this upwards, but they know that everybody else is looking at these indicators and saying, oh, we're going down. We're going to go down to 7,800 to 6,500 again. And then what do? They stall the support. They cause bullish convergence or bullishly diverging indicator. Boom, blast off to the upside. So you have to be careful on these things. Prioritize the best trades first. Don't let your emotions and your indicators trick you. And that's how I get better trades. What is the best way to ground a small account? What do you mean by ground? Do you mean like how to grow it? I'm assuming you meant best way to grow a small account. What's your friend's RSI indicator called again? It is the MFI Directive, and it's a money flow indicator. But you can use it for money flow divergences, such as higher lows, lower lows, depending on what you're looking at. What's my entry? 9,260. That's my entry.
Can't nobody take me down. Let the troubles
And coming back to your question, Gabe, of the best way to grow a small account, understand that you're going to lose money no matter what size account you start with, especially if you just got into trading. You're going to lose money. But if you can learn how to prioritize certain trades over others and look for the best trade possible and set up appropriate stop losses, not just some BS psychological stop losses like, oh, I want a 2% stop loss this time. Oh, I'm feeling a 5% stop loss. No, you will have supports and resistances, and those will dictate what your stop losses are going to be. Like I said, let's say, for example, a small portfolio is about $1,000. Let's say you're willing to use, you're willing to lose. We'll just cut this down a little bit. You'll be willing to lose 20% of 10% of your portfolio. So 20% of 10% of your portfolio is going to be $20. So in this case of last month, if you played every single trade correctly, which if you had your supports and resistances lined up correctly, you could have done it. You would have got around a 30 for a risk to reward. So in that 1 month, you would have made, let's see, hold on. You would have made $600. So you would have added about 60% to your portfolio in that 1 month from that risk to reward setup. Now, if you have a smaller account, you definitely have to be riskier in order to get it started. But as your account grows, back off. Stop going for higher and higher and higher risk to reward ratios. Find better trade setups. I mean, you should be doing that anyways, but crank down the leverage, and you crank down the leverage by lowering the constant stop, or you can adjust how much of your percentage of your portfolio you're putting into that. So the way we would set this up is, let's say this first trade here, you have a stop loss of 2.66%. Okay. So we would take 20% divided by 2.66%. And that gives us 7.5x leverage. So you would times 7.5x leverage by 10% of your portfolio. And we know that that is going to be, let's see, yeah, $100. What am I doing? It's only 1,000. So your contract size would be $750. If you lose this trade, you'll lose $20. If you win this trade, you will make 6.87 risk reward ratio. So we know that you'll lose $20. So we do 6.87. So on that one trade, you would have made about 13% to your portfolio. So that's the beauty of setting up this risk reward formula. No matter what size portfolio you have, how risky you want to be, how non-risky you want to be, you can formulate it to fit you. I gave you guys a baseline, but if you guys are riskier traders, just know that the initial couple trades really matter. You need to make sure that you can get the ball rolling. That's how you use this formula effectively. So your contracts will be 3/4 of your portfolio, and the stop will protect you, and you would only have to lose $20. Yes. So let's say, for example, and the question is, if I'm using 750 contracts of my portfolio, why don't I just use a 1x leverage with $750 then? What's the point of that? Well, it's called portfolio exposure. What would you rather have on your account at one time? $100 or $1,000? I know that doesn't sound like it's that risky. Well, let's break it down to this. What would you rather have on your account? $50,000 or $500,000 when it gets hacked? Because you can't control these things. You know, no matter what exchange it can always be hacked. And unless it's on a hardware wallet, you're not completely safe. So let's say I had $50,000, okay, and I made I lost 20% of $50,000. So I would lose $10,000. So why not just use $500,000 and lose, would it be, that'd be like 1% right now. I did this math the other night. But essentially, if you use 1x, you would have to look for like 1% trades or 1% stop losses. When you're using this, you're allowed to kind of go from trade to trade and use the same amount and kind of make different amounts here and there, but still set up yourself for risk to reward ratios. If you go the other route and you don't use the leverage, you can only trade when you have a certain stop loss. That's the only way you can do it. So I'd rather be able to go from trade to trade and essentially have the same setup on every single trade rather than missing 5 trades because I have to wait for a one that's perfect. Been playing with 100% leverage with Hakanishi candles on a 1-minute charts for a couple days. Very risky but fun. You just gave me anxiety, man. You just gave me anxiety. There is a place for high leverage. Like I said, if you want higher leverage, all you have to do is say, I'm willing to lose 50% of my margin trade on a singular loss. So let's do the same thing. Let's say we have $1,000 and we do 10% of our portfolio and we're willing to lose 50%. That'll be $50. So if we did the same month with that, we would be able to make $1,500 instead of $600. But our risk goes up, but our reward does as well. That is the beauty of this formula, because you can kind of tweak it to however you need it, but the risk reward never goes away. So now it will still take 30 trades to get me back into a loss, even though I'm using I have a higher risk. But then once you start stacking your portfolio up and you're making, maybe you started out with $500, but you had a high risk, high reward setup, and now you're at $1,500. Just take it back a little bit, buddy. You've been doing absolutely fantastic. See, the beauty of going from high risk to low risk is now it takes even more trades to get you back into a loss. See how that's fantastic? See how that's fantastic? I love it. So if you guys do have smaller portfolios, I'm not saying don't go balls to the wall. I'm just saying do it smart. Don't do it based off emotion. There is a smart way to do high leverage, but you just have to follow it. Because let's say, for example, we had the same trade. Okay, so let's run this trade back to back on a medium risk, medium reward versus high risk, high reward, and how much more potential we could have made in this trade. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the calculator right here so I can see this more easily. So we have a 6.87. Let me zoom in a little bit here. All right. So trading example, we have $1,000 of our we have $1,000 portfolio for trading specifically. Okay. So for the medium risk, medium reward trading formula, it's going to be 20% divided by chart stop loss. Our chart stop loss is 2.66%. So we have 20% divided by 0.266%. That gives us 7.5 times leverage. Okay, so now we times that by 10% of our portfolio. Well, actually 5% of our portfolio. So that would be $50. So we come out with 375 contracts. So how do I find out how much money I would have made on this trade? Well, you have to find out how much you would have lost. So we take $50. 20% of $50 is $10. Our risk to reward ratio was 6.87. So on this one trade, we would have made $68. Not too bad. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot of money to a lot of people. But $68 compared to starting with 1,000, that's absolutely fantastic. You just added 6.8% to your account in one move. Is that correct? No, like around a little bit over 5%. I don't want to overhype that. But let's go to a high risk, high reward setup and see how much more money we could have made on this trade. So let's say we're willing to lose 50% of our margin trade. So we divide that by chart stop loss, which is 2.66%. So we're going to be using 18.7 leverage. So now we times that by 10% of our portfolio, which is $100. So now we're using 1,879 contracts. So now, in order to find out how much we would have made, we need to find out how much we would have lost. So 50% of $100 is $50. So we times $50 by 6.87. So $343 versus $68. One is low risk, medium reward. One is high risk, high reward. You have to find out what you're comfortable with and what your portfolio looks like. If you have a smaller portfolio, it might be a little bit more beneficial to go with high risk, high reward. Now, you are in control of the trades you take. If it doesn't feel like a good trade, and if you don't have a clear support and resistance drawn to draw your stop losses off of, don't take the trade. But if you can learn how to set these up effectively, and you know what a good stop loss is, you know what a good entry is, and you know where you might be going, that's where it pays off. So we made about, I think it was like 300 and, what was the previous, 343. So we made 5 times more because of our risk reward setup. Could you go over the XRP chart? I'm not going to do it, but I just bought a whole bunch of XRP personally. I do think it's starting to bottom out. We are below the 8-to-1 Ganfan, but as soon as we break out above it, that is going to be monumental. We have huge bullish divergences on the MACD. I just am going to be holding on to XRP. I don't trade XRP, but I do hold on to it from time to time. TL, what's going on, man? I was just explaining the risk to reward formula for anybody that is still confused about it. But then you're risking more than 5% of your portfolio on the trade. Yes, the stop loss will protect you and you'll only lose $20, but technically 0.75% of your portfolio is on the line. Yes, that's not what I'm preaching against. Like I said, if you're doing this correctly, yes, you do have a 1% portfolio stop loss because you're on leverage. But if you can get the ball rolling, that doesn't matter. So that's where that whole thing came from, where he said, why wouldn't I just use 500,000 contracts with, you know, like a 1% stop loss or whatever? It's the same thing, but now you have the ability to take trades anywhere you want and essentially get the same concept. Where can I find this risk to reward formula? Thanks a lot, bro. I'll just put it in chat. So, like I said, you can change this to whatever you like, as long as the variables remain consistent. Now, the one I'm putting in here, that is just for swings. My thing is 5% for swings and then 2% for scalps. See, that's the problem. I don't think people will understand it completely until they start to see it in action. Because, I mean, I could do calculator methods all day and show you guys the potential of it. Let's do one more, just for the sake of things, just to see if we can get stuck in your head. All right. So go through this again. We have a trade here. Our entry was right here, and our stop loss is right here below a macro support. Our chart stop loss on this trade is 2.66%. Our constant stop loss, meaning how much actual money from our margin trade will we lose, is 20%. So right here, let's say we have a $1,000 portfolio. 5% of $1,000 is $50. Okay, so 5% of $1,000 is $50. So we will only ever lose 20% of 5% of our portfolio. So now we will lose $10 if we lost this trade. But we made a 6.87 risk to reward ratio on that trade. And what a risk to reward ratio is, it means that you will make 6.87 times whatever you would have lost. So we made $68.07. So now if we add back the initial margin, it could be much higher, it could be much less, depending on how price went up or down. But now we have $118 from that trade that goes back into our account. So now if we took 6.87 trades in a row, then we would be back at the $50. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the 7th would be that. So that is how a risk to reward ratio works. Every time you make a win, it sets you up for future losses. So you could win once, lose 4 times in a row, still be in profit, win again, and now it takes you 8 times to lose in order to be back to where you were. And then you lose 2 times, and then you win again, and then you lose a couple more times, and you win again. This way, every single win sets you up for future losses, and your win percentage doesn't have to be astronomically high to be a great trader. Some of the best traders have the lowest risk to reward, not the lowest risk to rewards, but the lowest winning percentages, because they make sure the trades they win are monumental and the trades they lose don't even scratch the surface. Are you an affiliate for Market Cypher? No, I'm not. I don't get any money for what Market Cypher, if you guys sign up with the link or anything, it's not connected to me in any way. Because of music, you can't watch you some places? Oh, don't tell me that. Maybe if I change it to a non-copyright. I don't know. Here, we'll put on non-copyright. I have 2K and only 210 into the trade. 9,200 entry, stop loss 8,950, and take profit of 9,700. I am 10x using your method. I should have like 1,500 contracts in this trade, correct? So let's look at it. So you're using the default formula, right, Half-Life? So your entry was 9,260, just like mine. And your stop loss is 8,950. And your take profit is at 9,783. Okay, that's backwards. I was trying to set up a long. Okay, so 9,260. Stop loss 80.50. Okay, that's good. And right about so you have a 1.71 risk to reward ratio on this trade. Usually you want above a 2 because you want one trade to give you cushion for the next trade or even more. So I'm in the same boat as you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bagging on you. But you are looking for 2s. 2s or above. So in this trade right here, your entry was 9,260. Let's go to a calculator. So you have 20% divided by 0.3, 3.31. Is that correct? Yes. So that gives you 6.04x leverage. Okay, so then you would times that by $210. So you should have about 1,268 contracts in that trade. Some fun PA today? No, I was not getting screwed. I have not been stopped out. I'm still on my long. We're still holding support. And we're starting to see bounces off the 50 on like the 3 hour, the 4 hour. So we could see some upside. Yeah, we've been out of this trade right here for a long whiles. This little scalp trade. Now, the only way that this could have possibly been like a fantastic trade is if you got a entry somewhere down here around like 9,179, and then you had your stop loss at about 89.50. Then that same trade would become a 2.65, and you would make let's see, 20%. So you make about like $80 off of that, almost $120. Crypto Half-Life. But don't worry, man. I'm in the same boat with you. I shorted right at the macro resistance up here. So I forgot what my actual entry was, but it was somewhere in this region. And it worked out initially. Got pretty excited, but we got stopped out. Because that's what you got to do. If you got a macro resistance, you short that. If you got a macro support now, you long that. No, so this, I believe we took a short right here at first, but that was just a scalp. And that one was a pretty high risk, high reward setup as well. Not in terms of like actual, like anything like that, but we were able to crank up the leverage a lot. Yeah, and like, that's what I really try to preach to you guys. Find the best trades you possibly can, and sometimes they don't work out. But that's fine. As long as you have a clear plan and you make sure that every time you do win, it sets you up for future losses. When you do lose, it's like, oh man, that sucks, but let's go make some more money. That's how trading should feel. Whenever you lose, you should not be getting angry and then betting more trying to make your losses back. If you are, you're doing it wrong. But that's why I help everybody I can, no matter if you guys are in the one-on-ones, if you guys are in the Telegram. If you guys come to the live stream and you guys ask me a question, I will answer it just like a one-on-one or just like anybody else. I mean, even like right here, like I haven't been into scalping lately, but this was like a perfect risk reward trade right here. We had a diagonal resistance. You saw, let's see, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 candles to get in. We also had us touching the diagonal resistance of our RSI alongside that. So you could have set up like a risk reward scalp trade right here. That was pretty damn easy. You could have took your entry like right about here. Your stop loss could have been pretty much like right here. And you could have taken profit on the macro right here. This was the one fib retracement that we just got a bounce off of. So that is a very strong support. So right there. Okay, I have that flipped upside down. We're going to have to do... Is it this? This is the right one, right? Yes. Okay. So let's say you got close. You got right here. And your stop loss is 0.85% and you took profit down here. That's a scalp trade, and that's a 4.41% or 4.41 risk to reward ratio. Let's figure out what we could have made on our fictional $1,000 portfolio. So $1,000. Let's say you're a little bit riskier. You're using 10% for swings and 5% for scalps. So you're using $50, and you would have lost. And let's say you're a little bit riskier too. Let's say you would have lost 50% of $50. So $25. You could have made 4.41. You could have made $110 on that trade, and that's a scalp. You could have made, let's see, that would have been like what? That would have been pretty much like a 50x leverage right there. So that's where like high leverages can work. But if you're just going 50x leverage just because you're gambling, no. It has to be for a good reason that you're using higher leverage. Like I said, guys, when your $1,000 portfolio turns into 10,000, you should start changing what you're doing. As your account grows, you should be playing less risky setups. You know, back down the leverage, back down how much of your actual portfolio you're using, because then what you're doing is, let's say you're using 50% constant stop loss with 10% of your portfolio. Let's say you got a couple trades back to back, and you got your account up to $5,000. So at this point, it would take you, let's see, if we're doing, if we lose $50 every single time, it would take us, what, really? No. Yeah, it would take us about 80 trades to get back into a loss. But the second you start doing things, and obviously that being said, that $50 would probably turn into a much higher number because now you're working with 5 times your portfolio. So that $50 that you would lose now turns into 250. But if you can do that consistently, go ahead, back it off. Start using 5% of your portfolio and a 20% constant stop loss. And that 40 trades it took to get back into a loss now turns into 80. And you keep on trucking. You keep on trucking forward. Give us an example of how you use higher leverage, please. I just did. So let's say you took a short right here. You can see that we clearly have a diagonal resistance that is being held. We are getting a bounce off of our diagonal resistance on our RSI on the 30-minute. Go ahead, take a short entry. So you would take a short right about here, up in this region. Your stop loss would be right above, give it some cushion. You now have a 0.91% stop loss. Let's say you're waiting to take profit down here. You now have a 4 risk to reward ratio. So let's say you're playing a high risk, high reward setup. So let's say you're doing 50% is what you're willing to lose on that margin trade. So you do 0.91. So actually, no, I have to times that. So 51 divided by, actually, no, is that right? So yes, on that trade, you would be using 56x leverage. And then you go ahead, times that by whatever you're using. If you're using $50, you would be using 2,802 contracts, so on and so on. So on that one trade, you would have made 4 times more than you would have lost. And you would have lost 50% of your margin trade. So on that one trade, you made $100, but you only risked let's see. You only risked 50. Is that right? Yes. Because 1,000 times 0.5, 0.05, 50. You're willing to lose 0.5. Oh no, that's divided. So 25 bucks. And then yeah, you have a 4 risk to reward ratio, so you make 100 bucks. So if I know what somebody's portfolio is and how much they're using to trade with and what their constant stop loss is, all they have to do is tell me a risk to reward number and I know how much they made. It all works into the same thing. So let's say we turn $1,000 into $5,000. Okay, just for the sake of things. So now let's say we back off our 50% constant stop to 25. Okay, and then we stop using 10% of our portfolio and we use 5% of our portfolio. So now we're using 5% of our portfolio and we go ahead and we're only losing 25% of that. So we know that that's 62.5. So it would take, let's see, what's the number I'm looking for? 40? No, I'm looking for $4,000. So 62.5. So 62.5, we'll do 60. No, because that would be around 3,600. So we're looking for like, let's do 80. Okay, so we're looking for a little bit lower. We'll do 75. No, god dang it. So we're looking for 65. 65, that's the number we're looking for, right? So we only need, okay, let's try this again. So 62.7, right? 62.7. So 65. So yeah, it would take about 65 trades after that in order to get us back to where our portfolio first started. So as your portfolio compounds and you continuously gain more and more and more and more, start lowering what you're actually risking and just let it gradually grow. Because then as long as you stay consistent, there's really no way for you to get really just backtracked. Now that being said, if we go to the top of the bull market and then all of a sudden we drop 40%, that is one way. But that's why you take your profits along a bull market and cash them out to USDT or just actual US dollars and just save them until we hit a bottom. So let's see. Exactly, Crypto Half-Life. It's about compounding your winnings, not compounding your losses. So let's say you lose 10% of your portfolio now, for whatever reason. Instead of risking more, risk less. You're still on the same track. Just keep things consistent. That's all. But that's what people do. They'll lose money and then they'll turn back around and they'll risk more so they can make up for those losses. And then you're just compounding losses after losses after losses. And then you got nothing left. See, I want to check something real quick. Where we at?
I'm feeling lovesick, but I kinda like it, feels like a trip. Got my temperature rising over you.
My leg hurts. There we go. Augustin, what's up, man? Thank you very much. What indicator do you have under the RSI? Looks familiar, doesn't it? Just money flow. Crypto party full. That was a good, that was a pretty good message. Just says thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I did not know you were Don Johnson. Don Johnson, come on down, get yourself a Kia. Just applied to a company called Illuminated Window Washing. Dope name. That sounds like a cool company. Illuminated Window Washing. I want like RGB tinted windows. That'd be so cool. My main concern is that I don't get to bed tonight. Let me text my sister real quick. Let me see when that baby shower is. You know what's a dumb idea? A dumb idea is having a baby shower in a pub on Super Bowl Sunday. That's a dumb idea. Whoever planned this baby shower, because it was not my sister, I'm going to find them. I'm going to find them at the party. I'm going to shake their hand. I'm going to break it. Where's my little hand cruncher? So, a long time ago, well, not a long time ago, like last year, I loved like those hand crunchers, like the Captain Crushers. And I got myself up to a 2. 2s are pretty hard. Like when I was a waiter, I would find the strongest guy in the place and I would say, okay, if you can make the metal touch with just squeezing, I will pay for your meal. And I loved it. It made me feel like I was actually strong because I can do those. What I'm really excited about is getting back into calisthenics once I lose all this weight. So when I was like 15, 16, I loved calisthenics. Like if you guys know who Bar Brothers are on YouTube, I loved watching their videos, trying to do all the tricks and stuff. That was my favorite thing besides like learning that I could sleep for 20 minutes every 6 hours. Let's see. What time is the baby shower? I'm going to be the only one not... Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. Tomorrow is Saturday. Oh my god, I'm losing track of my days. But, whatchamacallit? I lost my train of thought. Thank you, Aaron. What was I going to say? I don't know. It'll come back to me. I'm Magic Don Johnson. I know what type of car you drive. It's gonna be a boring couple days in Bitcoin land. I mean, I should count my blessings because I definitely thought that we were going to be stuck between the 4-to-1 Gonfan and the 0.618 fib retracement until around, let's see, until around March. That's what I thought. But we broke out a lot sooner. Under 9K this weekend. It could happen. Like I said, guys, as long as we're holding this macro resistance, I cannot short right now, especially on a swing. If we do cross below it and I get stopped out, yes, I will take a short once we're back inside this pattern. And I would be looking for either one, a bounce off of about $8,700, or with all that downside pressure, we could have a breakdown to $7,800. And then we get stuck in a pattern for, until March. Either way, I'm excited because even if this does want to capitulate for a little bit, I am still macro bullish. Unless we break this 2-to-1 Gonfan up channel, then I start to have to look at things a lot differently. But until then, we're golden. 4-hour head and shoulders in the making. Potentially, but let's see. Are you talking about like this right here? Maybe like this? If so, the target would just be the length of this arm right here. Since we found so much support right here, I wouldn't be targeting the length of this arm. MM was using Gons? Who's MM? MM Crypto? Wait, I know who that is. Never mind. What the hell am I talking about? MM Crypto.
Today we want to show you
Is it in the video he put out today?
today for the Bitcoin
crossing over to next year. And,
Oh yes, those are Gons, but those aren't the Gons that I use.
for maybe even up.
You.
You should always have some caution.
You're telling me MM Crypto watches me? What a blessing. What a blessing. Now, if only Crypto Bitcoin Chris will watch me, that's something. I want to be a shill for Crypto Bitcoin Chris. I want him to bring me on his channel, and I will shill the absolute hell out of his program. I'll be like, guys, I was 19 when I signed up for his Patreon, and I am now on top of my game. I'm making killer trades. I will do the whole spiel. I will sell pipe dreams for Crypto Bitcoin Chris. I won't do it for myself, but I'll do it for him. Yeah, I mean, he's a great trader. Don't get me wrong. He's not like the bee's knees, but he's a great trader, and I absolutely value his work. Monthly green dot. Oh, I don't have Market Cypher A on here. You guys know I don't like green dots on Market Cypher A. That's actually a bad sign for me. Okay, that's not a green dot, but maybe it's because I don't have Hakanishi. No, I do have Hakanishi on. Talking about regular candles? Oh. Oh, you're talking about right here. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. We're bullish. Let's see, 3-day. If we can get a candle body, actually no, because this, we've already invalidated this hidden bearish divergence. We still do have this one, but this one's far enough away where it's not going to have a super gigantic impact, because the further you get away from divergences, the less, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have an impact. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it has a less of an impact. So even though we do have that bearish divergence right there, it's not like crazy. We do have this one, which definitely could bring us down, but my hope for this is that we get some sort of another dip and then come back up, bringing us up to 10,000, and then the bearish divergence kicks in, causing us to come back down and retest this region, and then we get a bounce from there. Don't say pipe when you're talking about another guy. Pipe dreams. Yeah, he focuses a lot on different altcoins, but he does have a lot of successful calls. But when I was in his group, I didn't take any of his calls. That is not what, you know, these groups should be used for. Like, even though, yes, he's giving out calls and trading setups, it's for educational purposes. And the main thing that you get from that Patreon subscription from him is 40 different videos telling you how to trade. That's, you know, he was a huge influence on how I set up my personal, you know, trading group and one-on-ones. Yes, I'm doing it a little bit differently, but it's more the educational side instead of someone just buying my Patreon and just so they can go ahead and follow every single one of my trades. Today, I've been kind of on the fence about adding a bot to my Telegram that will allow people to pretty much exactly copy my trades. And even though that would add a lot of value in a certain way to my Telegram, I don't think that's what I want. I don't want people copying my exact trades. I want them, if they are going to copy it, I want them to put some thought behind it. I don't want them to it automatically to go to their account. Because yes, if I do win, that's awesome. But I want you to know why I won that trade, rather than just benefiting from that. I see you have made your chats pretty. My chats? Oh, it never settles. I did not see your super chat. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, like that's why I love the live streams, but I hate when people try to influence my decisions. I understand you have a different perspective, and that's absolutely perfect that you have a different perspective than me. If you came in here and you agreed with everything I said 100% of the time, I would not like that. But sitting down, looking at your own charts, and creating your own plan of attack for your trades is the only thing that's going to make you a better trader. If you're trying to find the next best signal group or the next best indicator to do everything for you, you're not going to be a better trader, and you're going to lose in the long run compared to people that are willing to sit down and learn what they have to learn and learn the hard way sometimes. That is the difference between the 99% and the 1%. The 99% of people, you know, stereotype of 99% of people that go into the stock market lose their money. That is absolutely true. But what they don't say is that 100% of people lose their money, but it's the 1% that says, okay, if I lost my money, I can make money because that means somebody else won. And if somebody else won, I'm going to win too. I just have to learn how to do it. That is what they don't say, which is what something they I mean, it's a little bit longer of a statement, don't get me wrong, but that's the God's honest truth. Yep, we added little, red light, green light zones. The yellow is still a caution zone because you can see we've come into the yellow a couple times, but still dumped back into the red. So, yes, I am bullish, but this is still a cautionary zone. Once we're in the green, things definitely look much, much better in terms of like just being moon boy, all the time. I lose 100%, $20 when I buy a pizza. Well, you could be like the the guy that bought a pizza with Bitcoin, and you could lose 1,000,000% on a pizza. I would think so. 30,000 BTC for a pizza. That makes me depressed just thinking about it. Well, if he had 30,000 BTC, did he have any left over? I mean, even if it was like 1,000 BTC, he's still, very, very rich. Don't say anything. Oh my god. I think I something happened with my with how I was inhaling that. I think I just started drinking instead of inhaling it into my lungs. No, it wasn't even a dry hit. It was just like I was like drinking it like I would drink a soda instead of inhaling it into my lungs. I said don't say anything. We're dying, guys. If I die on stream, there will be a giveaway of Bitcoin set up by my whatchamacallit. Yeah, I tried looking for a BTC ticker to put on the live stream somewhere. The best I can do right now is just have it right here. So that's what I got. Stretchy, what's going on, man? Alexander, have a great night, man. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much, man. Now, he was probably mining all his Bitcoin. I'm not long in XRP right now, but I did buy some more XRP. I need to crank up the temperature control on this. 'Cause the problem is like, there's more juice being pumped in than is actually being vaporized. That's the problem. Usually my hand is green screen and I don't know how because this is not green. This is like white. Yeah, it's Salt Nick. Actually, I gotta text somebody real quick. Let's see it. Well, I gotta find out what times are open tomorrow. Okay, so the one thing I hate is I know that sometimes if it's late at night, I forget to put some sessions on my schedule, but I know that I have multiple sessions on that day. And then the next day I'll have to like go back and look at all my chats to see who scheduled what. I'm usually pretty good about it. I've gotten definitely a lot better at it, but I gotta find out when this guy wants to meet up tomorrow. What's the most rewarding purchase you've made after you've made it? What have I gotten the most use out of? Probably my computer. That's probably the most rewarding purchase. Or do you mean something that has helped me in trading? In terms of like, was it an indicator? Was it a program that I've gone through, or was it a new monitor? But for me, the computer is the best one I've ever made. It cost $3,000, but it's been with me for like 2-3 years now. Well, actually, no, about 2.5 years. And I mean, it's gotten me this far, and it has not broken down. So $3,000, definitely a good investment. Fish slacking his secretarial duties. Did you buy Fish from Bitcoin, or was he a gift? Fish was a cheap little dog. Fish only cost me $175, and he was already vaccinated and got all his shots and everything. No, just personal satisfaction. I would say my most recent purchase that I've gotten the most use out of was my vacuum. I love that thing. It's so cool. Don't screw with me. I'll vacuum your titties off. It's like the AR of vacuum cleaners. Like you can put on a gigantic barrel and just suck away. Or you can have little tiny ones. Like when I get fish hair off my shirts in the morning. Not gonna lie, that kind of hurts. It sounds like the ray gun. It sounds like the thunder gun. I don't know if it will come through on the mic. I don't want to. But like after you pull the trigger and then you like let go, it does like this little whoom. Pretty cool. I don't know if it did it. Something that you couldn't have had when you didn't have the big money. Being able to treat my family to certain situations. Like later on, a couple years down the line, I'll be able to pay for my entire family to go somewhere they want. And I'll be able to pay for everything. That is something that would give me satisfaction. Fish, do not touch the sandals. Fish hair. How long does the battery last? The Dyson handheld I had was extremely early and lasted literally minutes. So, I don't know if this is going to show up on stream. But you have 3 different modes. You have Boost, Auto, and Eco. So Eco's not going to show up because it's green. But that lasts about like 60 minutes or so. Sometimes 80, depending on what you're doing. And then the boost lasts about 10 minutes. But the boost is like if you want to clean your car or something real quick. Yeah. It's pretty neat. Pretty fancy. Fancy vacuum. The first day I got it, I started cleaning up, and I underestimated how much fish hair was in my house. I literally had to empty the vacuum like I think 2 to 3 times just to get everything. There was so much hair, because I never wanted to vacuum because my mom gave me a Kirby vacuum. And I just didn't think about buying a new one. And every time I would say, I'm thinking I'm going to get a new vacuum, Mom. I can afford it. She goes, no, don't get a new vacuum. That Kirby will last the rest of your life. I'm like, okay, fine. But Kirby's, man. Biggest scam in the world. What do I think about the trigger wave forming? It depends on what happens. We've been bullishly diverging this entire time. All we're doing is resetting this indicator. So I don't see why people are getting super bearish in this region. Now, if we do come down and then get a rejection off the 50, I will change my stance and probably hop out of my long. But as of right now, we have been getting lower lows on the RSI, but we're getting higher lows on Bitcoin. So all that's doing is causing continuation. So I don't understand the full bear mode from people, especially with the reasoning that we are above a macro resistance and finding support for multiple days on end. Yes, we haven't blasted off to the upside right now, but that's not healthy if we do that. I think what's happening right now is completely normal. I have not changed my bullish stance. As long as we are above this macro resistance and as long as we are still bullishly diverging, there's no reason to short right now. Now, that being said, I did say that you could have set up a scalp short right here. That was a good position to be in. But in terms of, you know, like a swing short, like down to 8,700, no. No. No, I looked up every single vacuum comparison. That one in particular, the new Dyson. The old Dysons, yes, that statement was true, Mandy. But this Dyson in particular, it has twice as much suction as everything else, okay? I don't know how much of a difference that makes. But, fish, get off the belt. Get off the belt or I'll whip you with it, okay? Stop chewing on it. Stop chewing on it. Oh, stretch. Stretch. Stretch, fish. Short Kirby, long Dyson. Now, is there better vacuums that do different things besides just vacuuming up dirt? Yeah, there's ones that you can, you know, steam clean your floor with. Or shampoo it. You are so cute, fish. You are so cute. Listen, if you want me to pet you, stop licking my hands. I don't like that. Stop licking me. Stop. Nah, Roomba wouldn't work in my house. My house is not that big. Roomba is good where you have like a large open space that it can go back and forth. I have like coffee tables and stuff. And it wouldn't be able to get all the because a Roomba, like, it doesn't make much sense for me. Especially because the problem I have is like fish's hair will build up in like corners and stuff. But the Dyson's perfect for that. Because all I gotta do is get the long barrel and then put on the needle nose tip and then boom, I can get everything. Put fish a chair on the Roomba. I love those videos where it's just a Roomba and there's a cat sitting on top of it and just cat's just sitting, just chilling. Am I familiar with RVGI? Someone mentioned it in one of our previous streams when we checked it out. Now, all I said was, yeah, it's a great indicator to find divergences. It's not better than any other thing. But that's the case with most things. Like, Market Cipher isn't the end-all, be-all. RSI is not the end-all, be-all. It's when you can find multiple great indicators and combine them together, which technically is what Market Cipher is. What is the lowest time frame on MC? Do you go down for entries? 30 when trying to find anchor wave, trigger waves. So the lowest time frame I ever look at is 15 minute. I don't go lower than the 15 minute. Just not worth it. But I don't particularly look for anchor and trigger waves on the 15 minute. What I'm looking for is like a potential bottom, so such as like oversold bounces that are bullishly diverging that I can take longs off of, or overbought bounces that are bearishly diverging that I can take shorts off of. So like right here on the 15 minute, you could have called this bottom pretty dang easy. Not only do you have a macro here as the one fib retracement from the previous pattern, you also have a oversold bounce right here and an oversold bounce right here. You have a lower low on Bitcoin, but you have a higher low on the RSI. And it could have gone for one more bounce, but it didn't. And then it finally went up. So you could have started DCAing longs in this region and then left a little bit over for maybe one down here. And then it would have bounced. But you got lucky this time. Hey. No. Fish's forehead creases multiply every single day. Like every time I look at him, there's just more creases in his forehead. Fishy, no! No, Fishy, get off of me. You're attacking me. Sit. 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 Good boy. Stay. Stay. If you think it's going to dump, why cash out rather than short more contracts with your profits? What do you mean by if I think it's going to dump, why cash out? If you're in a macro bull market, you're not going to short with 100% of your portfolio. Yeah, leave some in to short with, but you're going to cash out at some point. Otherwise, unless you're using 100% of your portfolio, you're not going to come out ahead. No way. Sit. 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 Good boy. Stay. Yeah, when I said sell to cash, I meant the top of a bull market. Yes, I've sold Bitcoin to cash multiple times during this whole downtrend, but I always buy it back at the next bottom. But I've been holding mostly Bitcoin this entire time and just accumulating. But I'm talking about a actual bull market where you can gain, multiple hundreds of percents, but then lose 60% in a couple days. You want to make sure you can sustain your capital. Wasn't he on Men in Black? Not Fish. He's not old enough. Fish, I know you're doing something. And just a little bit of a warning, guys. I do think I'm going to hop off at 9 o'clock. I know it's way earlier than when I usually cut my streams at. I usually go to about 2.5 to 3 hours. But it's been a long week, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be the most interesting price action stream. I just want to kind of catch up on some rest, just chill out. Because literally the last week or so, it's been nothing but back-to-back calls, live stream. I'll get maybe an hour or two to myself a day. But, it's the weekend. Kind of want to just chill out. Hopefully, cut the lights off. Make my brain think it's time to go to bed at a decent time. Instead of 4 a.m. in the morning. He wants to get off so he can go pump the price. One day, I can envision myself being able to have an actual effect on the market. But as of right now, obviously everybody has an effect on the market in some way or another. But my price, my contracts and buying and selling does not influence anything. Unlike Mrs. G. We still got 30 minutes left, guys. Don't worry about it. No, just say goodbye yet, but I do appreciate it, Johnny K. It's been a good week. It really has. Was this the beginning? This was not the beginning of the week, but we've made a couple great trades in the past couple of weeks, guys. We really have. We absolutely murdered this pattern to its fullest potential, and then we caught pretty much, I would say, 95% of this up run And then you guys remember like me trying to defend myself. I was like, guys, we have a macro resistance, we have bearish divergences, I'm setting up a short, I'm DCing shorts, and everybody was like, no, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon. And then boom, we murdered that trade. We took about half of our profits before we got stopped out right here. We got stopped out in profit, so wasn't all bad. So I do wish I would have gotten this entire up run, but it's just one of those things. Now we got this trade that we're sitting on. Hopefully this works out as well. We just continue rolling from day to day. Happy Brexit Day. Yeah, I'll type it for you. So you can change the 20% to whatever your risk reward parameters are, and as well as the 5%. But I don't hey. You do not chew on that. That is an electrical component. You will die. Do not chew on that. Absolutely not. So like I said, if you go back to the earlier part of the live stream when everybody started stacking in, I started explaining it a little bit better. You can change that to whatever your risk to reward parameters are. But just know that if you go too high and you lose the first couple of trades, it's going to be exponentially harder to actually build that account. So it's always recommended that you start out with something in the middle, get the ball rolling, get a little bit of cushion under your butt, and then you could go to a higher risk reward setup. And then once you actually get your account up to a substantial level, crank it way back. That way it's so hard to get back into a loss. I love you, dog! My favorite thing is when he like tries to get in my lap, but he's just like on the floor standing up in my legs. And I can just squish his face. He has such a squishy face. He really does. The fish's one problem is that he will scratch his ears. And they start to scab up. So he loves when I rub his ears because then he doesn't have to scratch his ears. What's your thoughts here, Kite? Nothing has changed. I'm still bullish because we're above a macro resistance. Our indicators are also bullishly diverging on the RSI. We have been getting lower lows on the RSI, but higher highs on Bitcoin. That is call for continuation. And until I get stopped out, I'm still bullish. I just can't change it, guys. I can't right now. The risk to reward it's not too hot. I'm not going to lie, the way I have it set up. But in terms of us being above a macro resistance, the risk to reward is there's nothing better right now. Because if I do set up a short right now, my stop loss, it really can't be anything else. And we have such a strong support below us. Did we touch the macro resistance? No, we're actually above it. Our next macro horizontal resistance would be at about 10,150, but we are above the macro diagonal right now. Hey, don't chew on the belt. I'll be done in like 20 minutes, fish. Just chill. Just chill. Yeah, you guys know me. I'm not a actual price action support and resistance guy. I go based off of horizontal and diagonal from Gonfans and fib retracements. That's what I work on. Fishy. No. Work smart. What's going on, man? How you doing, buddy? You just went outside, fish. You just went outside. Well, lay down, buddy. Come here, chubby dog. Come here. Come here. Ah. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Stay. Stay. Be a good dog. See, the problem the fish has is when I put up the green screen, he can't always see me. So that just makes him antsy. Touches are about our kite. I'm sorry, Work Smart. I don't understand the question. Touches about our kite. I don't know. Yeah, it definitely could be choppy, but as long as we hold this, like I said, I am very, very patient. I don't care what happens in the meantime. So like right here, I took a short. I held that short for 18 days, homie. I held that short for 18 days until we got back to the bottom. Right here, I was, this could have been a much slower uptrend. Right here, I don't care if we come over, 8 days for my entry and then go up a little bit and then go over another 3 days and then go up a little bit and then go over another 3 days. I will hold my long until I reach my target. Thoughts about ADA Kite? I don't check on ADA all that often, but I will check it out for you. Let's go ahead. Let's go to... Actually, I'll just do it from this chart. Why not? Let's go to a daily chart. I mean, you got that double bottom right here. So, I mean, from that right there, you can start targeting these upper levels here. But the RSI already has a overbought bounce. So it does kind of need to cool off. Let's see. Where can I set up these Gonfans at? I'm not sure. I don't know where to set the Gonfans up on these ones personally. Let's go ahead and do fib retracements though. In terms of fib retracements, we are actually you're now above the 0.5 on ADA. When you're above the 0.5, that is a very strong support. You can see you got a rejection off the 0.5 right here, and that led to a huge drop. But I mean, that's a strong support. I would say if you're going to buy some ADA, it's a good time to buy some. Now, if it does drop back down below the 0.5, that's not super bullish at the moment. And that's going to be at about 0.052212. So I don't like saying just 52 cents because there's a lot more variation on these. Your next macro resistance in terms of horizontal, like I said, I can't really draw a diagonal on this. I guess I could. Let me try. Let's do Gonfan here. And and I'm trying to find something that works for this. I'm going to say this is the 1-to-1 because every single time you got a rejection off of it, you were continuously putting in a downtrend. So I'm going to say the 1-to-1 is right there. There's a lot of guesswork in Gone fans. Like I said, if they worked 100% of the time from just one simple setup, everybody would be using them. It's the people that can learn little tiny nuances to use them effectively that can really get the most out of them. Fishy, don't do that. Oh, you're in a free roam zone on ADA right now. You're now back above the 0.5. Your two major resistances going forward are going to be around 62 cents, you know, to round it. And yeah, as long as you're holding above 52.1 cents, you'll be fine for some continuation onto the upside. Because, I mean, that double bottom, I mean, that gives you some very high targets, not going to lie. Let's go back to Bitcoin. No, it's because I need to cut his nails, but I can't do it myself because it's just, I am so afraid. Like, I'll grind his nails down so they're not sharp, but they are still kind of too long. I gotta take him to Petco or something in order for them to do it professionally, because otherwise I know I'm gonna clip his vein, and I would hate to do that to fish. I would absolutely hate it. I'll beat you with the chocolate. He's chewing on a sandal. Oh, 5.2 cents right now. Okay. I was reading that wrong. So I was reading 0.24. I just assumed that was 24 cents or whatever. Was that not the right ADA then? Or was I looking at a totally different chart? Why is it not dollars then? So yes, if that is you know, $5.45. Fish. For a couple minutes, buddy. Huh. Fish, come here. Come here. Come here. Get my lap. Come here, fish. Come here. Ugh. Rub the belly. Hey, if you be good, I can rub the belly. Snort. What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want from me? You're like a little baby. He knows that there's food on my desk and you have my... Oh my god. Okay, fish. You're getting my cord tangled on your feet and you're pulling it off my face. That hurt me. Run a fib from 13K to 6K low. I'm not going based off of that. That's not the price structure I would be looking at. On a macro scale, between 20 to 3, okay, we are above the 0.5 at 7,800, and we are also above the 0.5. The 0.5 of this particular price structure is at $6,631. This price structure right here, I'm not playing that. Not your food. Yeah, I don't even discuss liquidation prices on my channel because you should never get liquidated a day in your life. There should never be a reason to get liquidated. You should always have a point of failure in your trades. And if you get liquidated, you're doing something wrong. There's no way around it. You're being greedy and you're not taking your losses. Ah. What do you mean about price structure? So you want to see pattern, breakout. So right here we have a descending triangle. So descending triangle, breakout to the downside, bottom, swing high. Okay. And we have not broken out of this pattern right here. So I cannot draw fibs on anything else except for this price structure right here and anything else like that. That's why we look for pattern, breakout, top or bottom, swing high, swing low to draw our fibs and our gone fans. Because you have to have some sanity to where you're going to set up your fib retracements on. Otherwise, it's just a hot mess. It's a hot mess and there's a lot of confusion. You have to have 3 basic layers. And if you keep adding on layers here and there, you don't know what to do. Keep things simple. Keep them simple. I see what you're saying, though. That would be like, if you were looking at it that way, you would say, okay, we're getting a rejection at the 0.5, and we're going to fall back down to 8,800. I can totally see you playing it that way. And if you are going to play it that way, hold true to it. Make a plan on it. Mine are set up differently. Does it mean that they're absolutely 100% correct? No. Does it mean that yours are 100% correct? No. But if you choose what you're going to be doing and make an appropriate plan on it, if it works out, that's fantastic. It's all about having a structure to what you're doing. Doesn't really matter how you set it up. That's just my personal way of setting my charts up in particular. I do not use MAs, SMAs, or EMAs. I am a Gone fan horizontal trader. Whenever I'm talking about 50, I'm talking about the 50 on the RSI. When you come into Europa, Kite, Probably like 2 years. I'm going to the Netherlands for a ayahuasca retreat with my stepdad. You have gotten hair all over my mouse pad. Do you understand what you are doing? No, you do not. You are so hairy. You are a hairy baby. Alrighty, guys. It's 8:53. I'm going to start saying goodbye to you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for dealing with me yelling at fish all the time. And, yeah, we're just staying true, sticking to our plans. If it works out, fantastic. If it doesn't, we move on to the next trade. But I definitely, obviously, if you guys still have questions about that risk to reward formula that I've been passing around to people, let me know in the next live stream. I'll definitely help explain it to you as well as many others, because I want you guys to develop your own plans. Find what type of trader you want to be and stay that way. Obviously, you can change a little bit along the way, but you have to figure out who you're going to be and how you're going to do it. Crypto Half-Life, peace and love to you, brother. Appreciate it, buddy. Augustin, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Big L, have a good night. Thank you, too. I appreciate it. Work smart. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Have a good night, buddy. Or good morning, if it's somewhere else where you guys live. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Bish, bish, bish. That's your name. Fish, fish, fish. Bishy Wishy was a bishy wishy. Andy, have a good night, buddy. I appreciate it. Stretchy, have a good night. TL, see you later, buddy. XRP you later. I'm just kidding. Have a good night, buddy. Aaron Clay, have a great night, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Yep, we're just going to chill out for the weekend. I got a couple calls tomorrow, and then Sunday I'm going to my sister's baby shower. That'll be lots of fun. I'm sure it will. Hey, get off my keyboard. Zekin, have a great night, buddy. I appreciate it. Alrighty, guys. We're going to go ahead and go to the end stream screen. And which song should I play for this one this time? We'll do let's see. What's a good one? We'll do Never Did. All right. So I picked the song. You didn't say hi, but I will say bye. Mandy. Hello, Mandy. Goodbye, Mandy. I appreciate you as always. I didn't mean to. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you on Monday. I appreciate it. Goodbye, guys.
Okay, now check this shit. I'm a force to be reckoned with. 10 years from now, they gon' be asking how they slept on this. Fuck my manners, man, somebody getting swept on this. I'm seeing red, man, I should've gotten meth on this. Marching with the force of 1,000 suns. Build your walls, watch me break them all down to crumbs. I can fit the crown you wear right around my thumb. You got a small mind, fuck your throne, I bow to none. So many skeletons, my closet is a mess. Got a sick amount of pressure in it, awful lot of stress. But I've been working so long I forgot about the mess. Guess I'd rather be exhausted than depressed. Pick your poison, make them hate so much that it destroys them. And when they cannot beat you, listen to them, switch their voices. I heard them talking, but it's just a mix of different noises. Now they sending offers, I just nix and void them, then avoid them like I don't need them, never did. Always on the move, never settle in. Never settle down, I don't need no sedative. Lord knows I'm working, I can't let the devil win. I don't need him, never did. Always Always on the move, never settle in. Never settle down, I don't need no sedative. Lord knows I'm working, I can't let the devil win. I don't need to diss my peers, even though it's crystal clear. They wish I disappeared, dap me up, but pissed I'm here. If I'm not on your list of fears, just give me a fiscal year. I am gonna lock it down, Ryan's got this shit secure. It's obscure how they talk about you when you're not around. Like I can't hear them simply just cause they ain't talking loud. I was never walking like them, so they'd say I'm not allowed. They must need something though, cause they ain't saying nada now. Tell them get away from me, I don't want your laziness. Don't know much about it, but I heard that it's contagious shit. I cannot contain this gift, I'm doper than the cane you sniff. Honestly, you crazy if you think that you can tame this kid. My team work as hard as me, I never have to babysit. Try to knock my hustle, but your hustle soft as baby shit. I already got a queen, I don't want your lady bits. I don't pay no one to build it, I go out and lay the bricks. I don't need them, never did. Always on the move, never settle in. Never settle down, I don't need no sedative. Lord knows I'm working, I can't let the devil win. I don't need him, never did. Always on the move, never settle in. Never settle down, I don't need no sedative. Lord knows I'm working, I can't let the devil win. We walk around like we own this place, like we own this place. We walk around like we own this place, like we own this place. We look